Hello everyone, you can see we're here at the Walker Sisters cabin. This isn't my main destination today, it's just a bonus on the way. We're going to try to go up a Cove Mountain Trail. Well, go up Little Greenbrier Trail to the Laurel Falls Trail up the Cove Mountain. That's the plan anyway. It is kind of clouding up though. Took you in the cabin many times, so we won't go through the cabin today. I just wanted to start here. Now we'll head back to where we head up that Little Greenbrier Trail, and we'll head up Little Greenbrier Trail to Cove Mountain. Like I said, this was just kind of a little bonus thing here. Being at the cabin. I thought about just starting it up at Little Greenbrier Trail, but I decided y'all might like to see the cabin before we start out on the long hike. And with the sky looking the way it is, I want to at least have something in the video in case something happens where I don't get to go all the way. I'm hoping it's moving out though. We had storms all night last night. But there was a lot more blue sky when I started than there is now. I say the mountain world was beautiful on the hikeway on the way here. Of course, I hiked from the picnic area down in Metcalf Bottoms. Got quite a bit planned today, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do it or not because the weather. The weather is saying it's supposed to clear off, but you know how that is. I think that tree fell since I was last here. At least it fell that way and not towards the trail. I'm not sure what shape the trail will be going up the Cove Mountain either. I was going to do it the other day, but when I crossed it, came from Pigeon Forge and crossed into Wares Valley. There was that severe storm I was talking about the other day on Goshen Pond. That was chased me back to Pigeon Forge. Thought I'd seen my owl friend that I hadn't seen for a long time, but it flew away. Oh no, I think I see him up there. He's got his back turned towards us, but he's up there. That's my owl friend. Hadn't seen him for a while on this trail. At least we got a quick glance at him. It's the first time I've seen him in quite a while on the trail. Or her. Used to see him quite a bit down through here. Now I'm glad I was videoing instead of waiting until I got to the top. Because I wouldn't have had time to get the camera out. Now this is the junction that takes us up the Little Greenbrier Trail, as you know. Oh, you remember the other day when I was on the Rich Mountain trails there in Cades Cove, and I was talking about the campsites being closed? At that time, that's what the park was saying. And a few days later, they changed it, and they're going to open basically all the campgrounds except for Cataloochee for now. But Cataloochee you can understand because that area was hit hard by the hurricane last year. But they did mention the other day all the campgrounds are going to open. Cosby and all of them. Big Creek's opening. Abrams is opening. And the others, I can't remember their names right off the top of my head. So the only one I think is going to be closed for now is Cataloochee. I'm sure they got a lot to do to get it going. With all the damage over there. As you know, that was a very hard hit area there by Helene. I just wanted to make a note of that because I know someone will probably be in my other video that I did the other day saying the campgrounds are closed and be like, no they're not, they're open. But they didn't plan on opening them till a few days later. They came out and said they're going to open them from when I did that video. sure we'll see people, but I don't think we'll see too many, even though it is a Saturday. I did sort of want to do the bullhead, but I got up a little. It was a little late, and I was afraid there wouldn't be no parking there at the trailhead. That area gets busy very fast, especially on the weekend. I wanted to come somewhere where you usually have plenty of parking. Even though it can be hard to get parking here at Metcalf Bottoms at times, with as many parking spots as it's got. Sort of trying to rush this first little part. I know we did this not too long ago. And if weather holds out, and I'm still feeling like it, on the way back I may do an off trail, because I think it actually goes to one of the back roads I usually take out of here, if I remember correctly. I know I took you down it before, probably about halfway or so, and turned around. But at that time I couldn't remember exactly where it came out at, because I know if you start going down that side of the mountain, you can come into people's private property, so I didn't want to continue. Then after going the back roads a few times through Wares Valley, I noticed the trail and I'm like, wait, that's where that trail comes out at. At least that's what I'm thinking. So if I feel like it, I'm going to go down that trail on the way back. I may just walk the road back to where you enter Metcalf Bottoms and come up Little Greenbrier Trail back to here down. So kind of today, if plans go to plan, we don't get turned around somewhere, have to leave. I'm gonna have a big hike, and I'm gonna do what I call the Smoky Mountain Jellyfish hike, because it's kind of what I'm doing. And I walk the tentacle in from the picnic area, then the little tentacle to the cabin and back, and then the tentacle up to the Cove Mountain, and then the loop part down that off trail and around up the road, and then back to Little Greenbrier Trail, kind of the main body of it. But that all really kind of depends how I feel and how weather's holding out, and the condition of the trail. After that severe storm went through the other day, I'm not sure how to conditions of the trail is going to be. That it was a very bad one. A lot of heavy wind and stuff. So far I haven't seen anything major. Other than that one tree that was down that went across the trail. And of course the trail we're going to is more higher on the ridge, so there may be a little bit more damage up here. Like I said, you can hike out the Laurel Falls Trail like we're going to do, but you can't go down to the falls. You have to go up the Cove Mountain or just turn around and come back. Because the part going down to the falls is closed. Even though I'm sure there are people trying to sneak down through there. But right across the way is that off trail I'm talking about that I think goes down to one of the back roads that I drive all the time, coming to and leaving Metcalf Bottoms to avoid going right through the main part of Wears Valley. I may be wrong on that, but I'm pretty darn sure that's where it comes out at. But now we're going to going up the Laurel Falls Trail, then we're going to go up to Cove Mountain. It's been a little while since I've done this trail. Well, I did do it one day last year, but I didn't video it. Before they closed the Laurel Falls. I actually did a super long hike that day with no videoing. I hiked up through here and went down by Laurel Falls, went the off trail to Elkmont, walked through Elkmont, up Jakes Creek, over to Meigs Mountain, did Meigs Mountain all the way to Curry Mountain, then Curry Mountain back down to Metcalf Bottoms. And I did all that without videoing. I'd like to do that again, but obviously I can't do that until they open Laurel Falls back up, and that's probably won't be till the summer next year. That's what they're shooting for anyway. I think it's the summer of 2026 they're shooting to open it back up. Of course, I'm sure that's all going to depend on if they can get everything done or not, depending on weather and stuff. That's one condition you need to understand. It might take them a little longer with having to do with weather. It's like Ramsey Cascades. It took another whole year longer than it should have because of some major flooding. And now they're working on the bullhead. We'll see how long that takes them. It's supposed to be 2 years, but it may end up being like Ramsey NB3. Of course, it's still open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays right now. It's only closed Monday through Thursday, just like a Ramsey Cascades was. I think this is actually the last trail to LeConte they needed to work on. I don't know why they didn't do it when they did the other trails to LeConte. Then again, they may have been letting the ground settle down a little after the big fires before they started working on it. And since the last time I went up to Cove Mountain, they have added a fence around the tower. My guess is people were climbing the tower and doing things they weren't supposed to be doing. Is the reason they put a fence up around it. Because the park is using it as a research station now. That means no sitting on the bottom step, take a break. That's all I did, just sit on the bottom step, take a break. I didn't try to go up the tower or nothing, because I knew you couldn't, I'm not supposed to. It did make for a nice dry sitting spot there at the bottom. Either on the bottom step or on the concrete platform. You see the mountain laurel is basically in full bloom now. Another couple of weeks to a month, we should start seeing some rhodo here and there. Hearing traffic in the background. Thought it was a jet, but it's actually traffic in Wares Valley. There may be already people up here too. I noticed there were a couple cars at the trailhead for Little Greenbrier, this trail, as you enter the Calf Bottoms area. Because I know those people that we passed at the cabin came from the schoolhouse. as I passed them on the way to the cabin. Kid was being a typical kid. Got to that water crossing, he walked right through the water. Then after on the other side, he's like, "My feet are wet." Instead of using the bridge. I do sort of wish I did this a little earlier before all the leaves got on the trees. We had a little bit more views. Mountain roll is just beautiful. That's what I had all the way up the trail to the Walker Sisters. The sun's trying to come out now, so maybe it is going to clear off. Or it's going to come out and warm up and start building another thunderstorm. Let's hope not. That's all I've been getting caught in here the past few hikes I've done. Hearing some of those cicadas somewhere way off. I know the camera's not picking it up because they're too far away from what I'm hearing. The camera's kind of funny at times. Sometimes it won't pick up anything, and other times I'll be watching the video and I'll hear sounds I didn't remember hearing. If I'm able to do that off trail, I think we'll go through a big batch of them cicadas. Because I know when I've been driving the back road through there, they were going off like crazy through there. If they're still around. This trail does get a little grown up in areas this time of the year. said, I don't think the camera's picking it up, but I do hear some of them cicadas in the far distance, like we were hearing in Cades Cove that day. If I should have done this to her earlier, it would have been tons and tons of crested dwarf irises through here. I did show you quite a bit of them though. I know they're trails. This trail does get a little skinny at times. Almost as skinny as a Scott Mountain there in places. And just as angly in places. That's why I say it's just as in good shape as some of these other trails out here. Now I wouldn't want to do Scott Mountain if it's raining or in the snow and ice. Definitely wouldn't suggest it then. But any other time, if you're careful, you should be okay. Because it's in no worse shape than some of the other trails here. There's definitely cicadas down in the valley below us. I know you're not hearing them because it's way too low noise wise, but I'm hearing them. Thought about doing Cooper Road looping Cades Cove, you know, around to Abram Falls and all, but there's some water crossings I was worried about especially since it poured rain all night last night. And I don't want to get in another gosh and prong situation. Because by the time I got around to the water crossings, I would have been already almost to Abrams Falls. So that would have been a long turnaround point. I have to turn around and go back. Unless I did it in the opposite direction, but I like it better the direction I go because it's a little less of a less steep a climb that way. It's a climb, but it's not as steep as if you're going the other direction I normally don't go. And one of those I like going down a little better than going up. Even though they're both not too bad, but I still like down a little better. Even though there's some points I don't like down, like if it's too steep, going down. That's when I like the up part better. Because it seems like your shoes grab better going up than going down. Steep hills anyway. Far other than there at the cabin, haven't seen any people yet. Like I said, those are our cars at this trailhead, so they may be on up here. Like I said, if I would have came a little earlier with the leaves off the trees, we would have had a few views here and there. Even though I like the trail either way, myself. I like it green because it feels all alive again. When it's not green, it just feels dead. You can see there are definitely some rough spots on some of the trail. Kind of why I say that's why I'm putting Scott Mountain Trail as actually in a good shape trail. It's not too bad at all. Actually wasn't as many down trees as I figured it'd be since it's been closed since 2011. As you see, there's some trails that are main trails and they got tons of trees down on them. See a little bit of Wares Valley through there. No, I didn't do Rough Creek the other day like I was thinking about. I got to thinking on the way back. There were water crossings on Rough Creek too, and I'm like, there's no use even trying. Of course, there's a water crossing on Little River too before you get to the campsite that we'd have to go through to get to Rough Creek. So I'm sure that one was pretty high flowing. But if I came earlier, we wouldn't have seen all this mountain laurel either. So you got ups and downs between when it's green and not green. Of course, I don't know how they got this trail out here now. It's a trailhead on Laurel Falls. I don't know if they tried to block it off some way or not. But I know you're not supposed to go down towards Laurel Falls. That's what all the signs say. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to clear up again. That's what it looked like earlier, and then it clouded right back up. So you never know. Sounds like an ambulance or something going down through Rivers Valley. Ambulance going somewhere. was a pretty bad wreck when I was coming back from Greenbrier the other day after I tried to hike Porter's Creek. I had a pretty good head on. There's some azaleas. A little far from the trail, but you can tell that's what they are. I think it's still early yet, but do need to get up to Andrews Bald sometime here in the next couple of weeks. The weather's just been so bad to do anything in the higher elevations. You wouldn't have no views up there. Seems like the mountains have just been staying socked in the clouds. We're a long ways off, but there are some more azaleas right up there. Of course, the closer we get to the Laurel Falls Trail and going up the Cove Mountain, the higher we are in elevation. It's been all uphill since I started. Since I started going up that trail, it comes up the Little Greenbrier here. It's been all uphill. I think Cove Mountain is just a mile, if that, from the trailhead on Laurel Falls up the mountain. I think roughly it's a 4-mile hike one way from where we began, give or take. And that one trail being an off trail, I'm not sure how many miles it is. I hear more sirens. Must be. Hope no one's hurt too bad. if it's a fire or some sort, maybe a cabin or something. At least we shouldn't have to worry about the mountains. It's not good anyway if it's cabin burn. Don't want that either, but after all this rain, it shouldn't spread as easily. But I just know how Wears Valley is, and I'm sure you all do. Seems like there's always a fire somewhere in Wears Valley. I have no idea what it is about the Wears Valley. So if you build somewhere, I don't recommend Wears Valley. Seems like they're always having problems here in this area. Cabins burning or something. Restaurants burning. Townsend's about the same way. Sure noticed that quite a few of you all know what I'm talking about. It seems like they're always having a fire here in Wears Valley or Townsend. Almost so many, it's kind of suspicious. Probably wait a few weeks, but I kind of want to go up the Cove Mountain too, by the actual Cove Mountain Trail, which is the same way it goes by Cataract Falls there. But now that I'm going this way, I'll probably wait a few weeks before doing that one. I like that one because you can actually hear the music and all from over Gatlinburg on parts of the trail. You won't be able to see it this time of the year though, but you should be able to hear the music from it. Maybe some screaming from the mountain coaster. liking that. It's looking kind of dark over that mountain. That would be my luck here lately though. Like I said, every trail I've tried to do here lately, I ended up caught in a thunderstorm. Except for Goshen Prong. That day actually was a nice day. It kind of looked like I was going to get caught in a storm at times, but never did. That was kind of why I didn't push myself through that one water crossing. I knew I probably could have got through it, but I was looking at the sky and I'm like, if I get out there to the campsite and it rains anymore, I'm going to be in trouble. I know I could have got through it if I just pushed myself. But I had that in the back of my mind. If it rains anymore, I'm not going to be able to get back across this. And the only choice I'd have then is to go back towards the campsite and go up to the AT and try to come down that mess of Sugarland Mountain. Because I hear it's in very bad shape. I hear it's basically almost impassable in spots. It's so dangerous to try to get around stuff. Of course, it's hearsay. I hadn't seen it in person. It's all hearsay. But so many people are saying it, I'm not denying it. So, it's because there's just too many people saying it. Too many trustworthy people, I should say, saying it. Because I know there's some out there that'll say anything just to try to keep people off the trail. But there's too many people I personally know saying it's in very bad shape. Wouldn't really suggest trying it. Not telling you not to do it, but just suggesting not doing it. Like I may go up and just see how bad it is one day. And then I'll make the decision if I want to go past the bad part or not. Like I've done many times on other trails. It's like with Rough Creek the other day, I hear it's in bad shape. Even the park's got it down as in bad shape. They even took it off the 900 miler list. They've listed it in so bad shape. At least part of the trail, the upper part, they took off the 900 miler. So you don't have to do it. So if they do something like that, it must be in fairly bad shape. It's still open. It's just not recommended. And not required for the 900 miler now. That's what I think. Instead of having Scott Mountain listed as closed even though you can do it, I think they just should list it as not recommended. Like they have that trail, Rough Mountain. Because as you saw, it wasn't in really too bad shape. But yeah, there were a few areas that were a little sketchy here and there, but I've been on many worse trails than that. Like this one's got some spots almost like Scott Mountain in places. And then it's kind of ironic, it's another border trail just like the Scott Mountain is. This is a border trail. It's almost in the same shape. I think there may be one more sketchy part on this trail, but I can't remember for sure. I know I said I did it last year, but that's been about a year now, so. And I didn't go up the Cove Mountain that day. I just went down by Laurel Falls and around, like I said earlier. I actually made a nice hike. Definitely was different not videoing it too. Sometimes it is nice to go not video or anything. Like I did that earlier this year too in Kate's Cove. Did a super large loop. Didn't even have my cameras that day. I didn't really see any wildlife that day either, so didn't really miss anything wildlife wise. And I did it that day just before literally the day before they reopened Rich Mountain Road to cars. So I didn't have to worry about cars when I was on Rich Mountain Road, unlike the other day. May change my pants to shorts later. At least before I start back down. And I don't know if I will or not. There's a lot of thorny bushes down through here. You can tell this trail does get fairly grown up though. And just think this is still technically earlier spring, it's not summer. So it's gonna only get more grown up. This is sort of the rough area I was thinking of earlier. Thought there was another area. It's kind of rough. It's not super bad, but you just gotta watch your footing. Maybe I can get to the bullhead tomorrow. I think it's supposed to be another nice day tomorrow before it starts raining again. Because I really would like to get up to LeConte and then come back down Rainbow or Trillium, one of the two. Probably go back down Rainbow since it's been a little while since I've been by Rainbow Falls. But I know I've been saying I've been wanting to go to LeConte for a while now. Just hadn't got around to it. Just seems like things happen between the time I say I want to go and it comes to when I want to go. So that's going to put 2 big hikes back to back if I do it tomorrow. Because this is a long one today. little rough area too. Trail's at a slant and rocky, loose rocks at that. So when I know took a good fall off this trail not too long ago, but it was a little bit before they cleared some trees down. They were trying to go over a tree and ended up falling down the bank like that. But they've cleared the trail of those trees since then. I don't know if there's any fresh ones or not. I hadn't seen any so far. But we're not through yet. But that scared them half to death that day though when they took that fall. They're about like me. They like to hike all by themselves. Luckily they didn't hurt themselves, so they were able to, it was rough, but they were able to climb back up the hill. I had to crawl up it, because I know the camera don't do it justice. That's a very steep hill to fall down. I don't see how they stopped. It's that steep. And they're definitely lucky not to get hurt too. Have a good view here, but I don't think we'd even have one in the winter here. Too much rhodo. But I can see a little bit through the trees. Yeah, it's definitely clearing up now. Look at that blue sky. A whole lot better than it was earlier. Of course, I don't know what's on the Wares Valley side. That's where that storm came from the other day. I'm sort of glad that storm hit when it did, because if I would have came earlier and actually been on this trail, that would have been a very bad storm that got caught in. This is sort of a rough mountain I'm going to anyway, in Cove Mountain. That's where a lot of the highest wind ratings hit when we have windstorms. And of course, I think they get the wind speed there because they got that research station up there on the old Firetower. Getting to another kind of overgrown spot. And a tricky spot. It's not too bad, but it's a little tricky. Mainly just wet and slick. Few purple flowers in here. Not too many. Of course, it's about past their time. That's why there's not too many. Another part of the trail is kind of angled down the mountain. It's hard to tell in the video, but it is. Of course, I'm sure Scott Mountain's probably looking about like this now too, because I did it when it was a little less green. And I could tell by some areas it would get grown up like this. So that's probably a late fall, early spring trail to do. And see, here's another little bit sketchy part of this trail. That's all. Can't tell real too good, but it is sliding off the mountain there. Yeah, someone's been up here and they almost took a slide there. You can kind of see their footprint right there where the trail slid with them. So there's either someone up here or it's just a footprint from some other day. But I'm not going to be surprised if there's others up here. Like I said, there were people at the trailhead. Now I can't say where they went. They should be going to Cove Mountain, but you know, people, they can try to sneak in somewhere, they will. Some bear poop. So some bears have been through here. It doesn't look too old either. Of course it did rain all night last night, so it might be old, it's just wet from the rain. The only thing about Scott Mountain Trail on some of these trails is it is a little tricky if you meet someone on the trail. You have to pass each other, especially in the thin parts. You can definitely tell the part between where you go down the Walker Sisters and the road is the most used part of the trail. There's a jack and pulpit leaf. There wasn't no flower. It's probably already gone for the year. It is a little late in the season for them now. I even noticed on the little river trail, the ones I seen a few days before were already droopy and almost gone by the time I got to them the other day again. That's why I didn't share any more photos of them. They're basically gone. I was thinking maybe up here being higher up, maybe he's still hanging on a little bit. that one was gone anyway. Not to say there's not any more up through here somewhere. Yeah, sky's definitely looking a lot better than it did earlier when it first started. I was getting a little worried when we first started because like I said, it started out almost like this when I was in Metcalf Bottoms. Then by the time I got to the Walker Sisters, it had clouded up again. Well, it wasn't exactly like this. It was breaking up. I could see blue sky and sun every now and then. Of course, as usual, we could have a pop-up thunderstorm later on. We do got that chance, but it's not a big chance. It's just the typical weather pattern right now. You got that chance of an evening thunderstorm. But as you've seen in my past videos, I've been caught in one almost every video. No matter what part of the park I went. It's like, why can't I choose the right side of the park today? A few more jacket pulpits there, but there's no, like the other one, there's no blooms. I'm not even seeing the, the dead flower though. So I don't know if they just didn't bloom or something picked them. Getting to another fairly overgrown area. That's going to make it, that makes it hard to see them too. Getting in this overgrown stuff. They're hard enough to see as it is, you know, being green. Then you get in this, and it's about impossible. It would be impossible to see them. So I may have passed a few and not known it. But like I said in the past, I did show you a few this year so you know what they look like and all. Getting kind of past flower season anyway. Except for maybe some of the summer flowers and stuff. think we should be getting fairly close to Laurel Falls Trailhead. Just like I said, you're only supposed to go up the Cove Mountain. You're not supposed to go down towards Laurel Falls. I know I said that a lot, but I'm trying to stress it out. Don't want to see anyone get in trouble for doing it when they're not supposed to. I don't know if the camera's catching it or not, but I do hear a river way down in the valley. It was really flowing this morning, and when it goes through Metcalf Bottoms. But there are quite a few going down the river in kayaks today. There's always usually a big bunch going down the river after a big rain like that we had last night. I don't know how they do it, but I've seen people go over Abrams Falls in a kayak. That is scarier than I don't know how to say it. I know I would never do anything like that. I don't know how you could trust yourself doing that. Who knows how many big logs are at the bottom of that waterfall. that you're going to fall down into. And as you know, that's a long ways from any help if you get hurt. And I guess the only place they would have to get their kayak out, if after going that far, would be the lake there off the Dragon. You know where Foothills Parkway comes out onto where you go to the Tower of the Dragon. That lake there is where you'd have to go. Going down Abrams Creek there and over Abrams Falls. This is probably just going to be a long video, guys, because I'm probably just going to video all the way up to Cove Mountain. Not stop it here at the trailhead. Like I said, it's just a mile up to it. So it's not going to cut off much video time. And then I won't video again until I decide if I'm going to do that off trail or not. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure I'm still going to do that or not. Really depends how I feel now. This is a long hike. Just doing what I'm doing now without adding all the other. Oh, we're here to Laurel Falls now. Yep, they got it there with the sign saying do not go that way. Of course, someone could easily just step over and go, but it's definitely well marked, letting you know you're not supposed to go that way. At least it's marked better than the Big Creek Trail, where you're supposed to turn around there at Mouse Creek Falls. As you saw that day, it wasn't even marked. You're not supposed to go no further. So we're going to go on up to the Cove Mountain Tower now, the old fire tower. It's like I said, you can't go up it now because it's a research station, but it did used to be a fire tower back in the day. And we can't get too close to it now like we used to. Like I said, they did build a fence around it. Of course, I never did try to go up the steps or nothing like that myself. I knew that was a no-no, so But I did use the steps as a seating place to take a break. But I didn't do no more than that. Because I know a lot of times there's a really muddy up there, and it was about the best spot to sit at the time. Thinking maybe them people did sneak off the other way. I'm not seeing any footprints this way like I was on the other trail. And you know, people, they can't they gotta do their own thing. Sorry, I'm looking, see if I see any flowers. Mainly jacking the pulpits because I've seen a few more leaves of them, but I didn't see the flower itself. So that's why I'm going a little slower at times, if you're wondering why I'm stopping and stuff. Like that tree cracked. It was a little windy, but I sort of expect that for Cove Mountain though. Usually one of the windier spots here in the Smokies. At least I'm on a little bit of a downhill right now. I know we're going to start going back up again, but it gives a little bit of a break from all that uphill we just did. Of course, I know it just means it's going to be uphill on the way back, but it's a short uphill, not a long uphill. As you can see, this is only going to get more overgrown as the year goes too. I doubt they'll clear this since the Laurel Falls Trail is closed. So I say they'll just let this go and get going. Let this go without clearing it. That's what I'm trying to say. We're coming up on our first down tree of the trip. Nothing major, but I'm tell the truth, after that severe storm the other day, I'm surprised we haven't had more. Very surprised. Of course, if those people came another day and it wasn't from today, the footprints could have been washed away too. I see where water has really been going down the trail. Bet it was pouring down the trail last night. So that could be why some footprints are gone too. I haven't been getting online as much here the past few weeks as I used to. Sort of been staying offline. Just letting my videos catch up. Because I'm super way ahead on them. It's kind of good to get away from the internet for a while. Too much hate on it. I'll get on it sporadically just to mainly check things, but nothing like I used to. I'm not on it every day now like I used to be. Check it every few days, I think, now. But I'll probably be back to it once my videos catch back up to where I'm at. Ow. Yep, I'm going to leave my pants on. I'm not going to change them to shorts. Good old blackberry bush got me. It's not a great view up here, but we should get a little bit of a view from Wares Valley. If you're ever going through Wares Valley and you see a little cut going up the mountain where it's been, the trees have been cut, a little strip going up the mountain, that's where we're going to, the top of that. That's Cove Mountain, if you ever wondered what that strip going up the mountain is. Comes up here to the top here where the fire tower is, or now research station. Heard a tree crack, so I stopped a little bit. Ooh, I'm hearing it cracking. Yeah, looks like I'm going to come up on all my fallen trees through here. And I wouldn't look for them to clear these trees too quickly either, not since the little falls is closed. I'll probably just try to leave them down as a deterrent. Even though it's okay to hike this upper part. course, on Big Creek, they may have it more blocked off at the bridge. I know there's a bridge not too far up from Mouse Creek Falls. But I just didn't want to go any further since the sign did say it's closed past Mouse Creek Falls. What I've heard's wrong up to there is there's washouts and landslides and stuff. That's why it's closed past there. Now we're on our last little climb before we get up to where the tower is at. There's actually a lot more growing up than I thought it would be. I guess not as many people are coming this way since the Laurel Falls is closed. Even though the way I came is the shortest way to get up to Cove Mountain. Definitely a lot shorter than coming from Cove Mountain Trail itself. It's actually 8 or 9 miles one way on it. Of course, I think it's more of a old road hike. I believe that was the way they went up to the fire tower years ago before they built the new road up to the tower. Now they got a different road to go up to the tower. I'm not sure where it begins at the bottom of the mountain, but I know it has to be gated. So not just anybody would drive up it. Even though I don't think I'd want to go up that little gravel road. From what it looks like. Of course, they may not clear Little Greenbrier Trail this year either to try to deter people from even thinking of going down to Laurel Falls that way. They may just let it grow up. So most likely it's just going to get worse and worse now too than it already is. Especially the part between where you go down to the Walker Sisters and here to Laurel Falls. Now the first part they'll probably try to clear where you hike down the Walker Sisters. As you know, that's the better part of the trail right now anyway. But that's got two reasons. I'm keeping it clear, and there's a lot more people that use that part of the trail. So it's more used. So it stays more wore down. This is what happens to a trail when you don't have too much traffic on it. It starts going in. And it happens faster than you think. Even though I'm highly surprised on Scott Mountain, you saw how it was. It was in great shape to be what it is. Camera's probably not picking it up, but I'm hearing them cicadas again way down in the valley down there somewhere. As soon as I stop, it stops making noise. It sounds almost like someone screaming way off, but it's just a cicada. I didn't realize this was going to be so grown up. Last time I came, it wasn't this grown up. course, it's been a while, but still. And I do believe it's only going to get worse. Wouldn't be so bad if it was just regular greenery, but it's blackberries, so it's got thorns. This is kind of making me rethink into doing that off trail now. We're about here now. You've actually got a trail sign back up here. Last time I was up here, it was gone. And you can see park headquarters are near Sugarland's Visitor Center. It's a little over 8 miles. Of course, if you do it, if Laurel Falls was open, it would be 4 miles. Let's go up to the tower. You can tell this used to be an old road, how wide it is. There's actually a road right here. I think it goes up to the tower. That's why I said I don't think I'd like to go up that little dirty road to the tower. You see what it is, it's a little dirt road. It's not even gravel. Not sure what type of animal that was. Big old ant on my camera. Didn't want to flip it because I was afraid I might accidentally squish it. Yeah, you can see there's a big fence around it now. Used to not have that fence around it years ago. Last time I was here, it wasn't there. But I did hear people were messing when where they shouldn't have. This is why they did it. That used to be a fire tower years ago. Now it's a research station for the park. It's also where they get their wind readings for Cove Mountain. If you're local, and you can see it on the news every now and then. If I usually just sit down there at the bottom and take a break, it made for a good spot to take a break. I never did even try to or attempt to go up the steps because I knew better. You're not going to see anything from right up there anyway, just for the trees. So I don't even know why you just even go up the steps. If we go over here, we should hopefully get a view of Wares Valley. I'll probably sit on this rock. It's like about the only dry spot. Yeah, we're gonna get a little view of Wares Valley here. And here's that cut I'm talking about that you can see when you're driving through Wares Valley. That's that cut in the mountain that comes up here. When you're driving through and see that cut going up the mountain, we're at the top of it right now. There's like an old building over there of some sort. Not gonna mess with it either. Of course, with it green, you don't get as much of a view, but you do get a little view. See where he's fairly busy down there. Well, I hope you enjoyed the hike up here to Cove Mountain. Everyone, thanks for watching and have a great day.